Since the beginning of the cyber world, many people with supreme technological abilities that have put many countries on high alert have emerged. This is the story of one of the most dangerous hackers in history, Gary McKinnon. Gary McKinnon, also known as Solo, was born on February 1966. He is a hacker from the United Kingdom that has been accused by the United States for having committed the largest cyber attack to a military system in history. And for that reason, they asked for extradition of Gary for cyber terrorism. But what turned Gary into the most dangerous hacker in the world? This individual was accused of hacking 97 North American computers from the military to NASA. Between 2001 and 2002, the networks he allegedly attacked were proprietary networks of NASA, the United States military, Marines, Air Force, Department of Defense, and a faction of the Pentagon. The cost estimates in rectifying the cyber attacks caused by Gary ranged around $700,000. If the request of extradition were to have been granted, Gary would have faced a prison sentence of almost 70 years, and he expressed his fear of being sent to Guantanamo Bay. How did Gary manage to access those computers? And more importantly, what did he find? In an interview with the BBC, he claimed that he could access military networks using a script in pair. In his claims, he also said that there exist many computers with his password of default, and with that, he had access to those computers. Gary was a fanatic of UFOs, and for that reason he hacked those networks in search for hidden evidence of their existence, giving himself knowledge and supposedly finding answers to many of his questions. That obsession for UFOs turned into an addiction, and according to other interviews with the BBC and the Guardian newspaper, he spent countless nights sitting in front of his computer in his pajamas, without resting or bathing, eating only enough to survive, and what he found borders on the unbelievable. Supposedly he found a list labeled non-terrestrial species, a list of names of airships that were not included in any official military catalog. He said that he saw a picture of an airship in the shape of a cigar, and that the US military discovered a way to fabricate an anti-gravity propulsion system using materials recycled from UFOs, and that the reason for which this remains a secret is because its usage could result in the possibility of this energy being free, ending our dependence on oil. In 2002, not noticing an error in time zones, he accessed one of the computers, and he was then discovered when people noticed that the mouse cursor was moving on its own. It was traced, and soon his whereabouts was discovered. From there, a legal war began between the US and the UK, in which Gary's extradition was demanded, but his country refused to deliver him. The first question that must be made: what evidence did Gary propose? Even though he said that he found information about a conspiracy, and that he is still currently working on issues relating to UFOs, he was unable to prove with substantial evidence the veracity of any of his claims. Just on the fact that Gary was accused of cyber attacks, it does not prove that what he claims is true, and much less that he found said evidence on those computers. Without a doubt, this is one of the arguments that UFO investigators use to validate their cause. But be careful, because we may never know if what Gary said is true, and if he was just another hacker, or if he actually saw something he shouldn't have. Clearly, this case raises many questions, but from a logical perspective, Gary's claims cannot be believed if there are no evidence to support them. Thus, extraordinary claims must require extraordinary evidence. Is Gary telling the truth, or is he just another hacker adding to the massive amount of theories without evidence?